Welcome to your Passion, Purpose, and Personal Brand. I'm Lisa McGuire. And if you tuned in a few weeks ago, there was an episode I recorded called Feeling Numb, Stuck, or Disconnected, and here's why. And if you did, then you already know we're not talking about surface level business advice here. We're talking about that deeper pull, the kind that shows up in quiet moments and whispers, there's more. And it starts with becoming more you. So today I want to talk about authenticity, not as a trend, but as a requirement. You know, we're in a new age. We're not just in the age of AI, we're in the age of identity. Mark Cuban recently predicted that in 3 years, AI will be so advanced, people won't know what's real and what's not. I'd say we're already on our way. Think about that. Videos that look like you, voices that sound like you, content created by curating expertise from every direction. So what does this mean? It means we're going to crave real in-person connection more than ever. Think about that. In a world of deepfakes, filters, and perfectly crafted pitches, the thing that makes you stand out isn't strategy. It's realness. And it's not just what you know, but who you are. That's why people are no longer buying based on credentials alone. They're asking, do I trust this person? Do I feel safe around them? Do they see me? Are they relatable? Authenticity isn't just nice to have anymore. It's a filter we get to use to decide who gets access to us. So what happens when you're not authentic? Here's the part people often miss. Authenticity isn't transparency. Transparency is what you choose to share, and authenticity is what's consistently true. Did you get that? I'll say it again. Transparency is what you choose to share, and authenticity is what is consistently true. You can share your feelings online and still hide your truth. You can post the perfect vulnerability caption and still be wearing a mask. True authenticity isn't about oversharing. It's about being anchored in your voice, in your values, in your presence. And when that's missing, you might sound polished, but not memorable. You might be saying all the right things, but still feel invisible. You might be in the room, but you're never in the conversation. So it's time for a story about the power of a simple human moment. I was recently talking with a client who almost lost a deal. She had followed up and had a date on the calendar for a proposal review in person. She had prepped for the sales call. She was ready to go. And it was during the conversation when everything looked like it was heading towards a no. The energy was flat. The buyer was disengaged. And then someone casually mentioned the small town in Pennsylvania. Well, the client said, wait, are you from outside Pittsburgh? Turns out they were from rival high schools. And suddenly the call lit up. Stories came out, names were dropped. They laughed about football and the weather and having prom back in the gym. And you know what happened next? The deal went through. Not because the pricing changed and not because the strategy was tweaked, but because a moment of shared humanity built a bridge that no sales script ever could. That's authenticity, not perfection, not performance. It's what we call presence. So authenticity is the competitive edge. This is the future of business, folks. It's not about how many reels you post or how many networking groups you join. It's about whether people feel like they know you. And when they do, they don't just say, I've heard of them. They're thinking, I trust them. Because people don't refer the person with the best elevator pitch. They refer the one they believe in. And that's the magic of authenticity. It creates trust. And trust is what converts. So when we're looking at this, let's stop and take a deep breath. Because this is where so many high achievers get stuck. You've been showing up, you've been doing all the things, but you still feel like you're being passed over. And here's the distinction I want to offer. Visibility without authenticity is noise, but visibility with authenticity, that's resonance. You know, one of my clients said something I'll never forget. I'm tired of being visible and still feeling unseen. You don't need to be everywhere. You need to be real and in the right places. So let me ask you something. Where in your life or your business are you still performing? Still pretending? Where are you toning it down so you don't stand out too much? Where are you still trying to fit into the image of success you were taught instead of the truth that you're here to live? The truth is you were never meant to be a commodity. You were meant to be known. And when your outer story and your inner voice and your soul's calling align, that's what I call a personal brand of integrity. It's not built by marketing tactics. It's built by becoming. So next week, I'm opening the doors to something I've been dreaming about for years. It's a project that I'm inviting a few people to join, and you might be one of them. It's taking how we connect and turning it on its head. It's a space where relationships are built through resonance, not roles, and where authenticity isn't just welcome, it is required. But for now, here's your first step. Don't perform, don't perfect, just be present. Because the future of business, it doesn't belong to the best talker. It belongs to the most trusted human in the room. And trust, it begins with authenticity. Thanks for joining me on Your Passion, Purpose, and Personal Brand. I'm Lisa McGuire, and I'll see you next week for where we go beyond the performance. Because the business and the life you're built to live, it begins with the truth. And that's what you find on the way to discovering your legendary self. We'll see you here next week.